Okay, wish me luck. I'm using new software. I'm using OBS. Check that out. All the cool kids are, you know. Now, I've been making a bunch of videos, and every time I've been messing around with my VIC20, I've been having a couple of problems with it. And basically, it's U6. Is that U6? Yeah, that's U6. Oh yes, U6. Check out Mega Zoom. Ready? Yeah, so we've now got a macro mode that's actually... Oh, how good is that? There it is. Yeah, so I believe that is the chip in question. But as there's three of them, there's 138s, there's 1, 2, and then there's one further along. Yeah, there it is. Look at that. That's working out right. I might try and turn this into how not to desolder things, or how to desolder things. We shall see. Depends how bored I get. I've got plenty of other things to do as usual. So let's try and zoom out on Wobble Cam. No. Oh, there we are. Right, so yeah, first things third. Okay, this is on my Commodore 100. Oh look, we can actually frame this properly now. Yeah, so I might use this opportunity to do a couple of things to this. This is my test bench that I use for quite a few things, but not necessarily everything. I am wearing a static strap, but I am wearing it on my leg. Put it on my wrist. My ankle. Because otherwise the wire gets in the way, frankly. I am using a flathead. That's right. I hope that's the right screw. Don't know if the tune's working. Yeah, so I've been fiddling around with all this capture stuff off and on, and on this bench I was getting so much trouble trying to get it to do anything than standard def. So this should be in high def. I don't know how many... Bugger. That's what I was trying to avoid. I have dropped a screw, and that, it didn't make the sort of bouncing noise you'd normally hear. You kind of gauge where it landed. Right, that's gone. I'm one screw down already. Gutted. Ugh. Right, anyway, I'm going to put that there. I'm going to do that, because there's at least screw there. I'm going to put this out of the way. So yeah, there's the C16 board. I've got to do some stuff on this too. Might do that now. Probably not got the time. It's Saturday, and I've got a horrible feeling I'm going to have to go into the office. Absolutely positive there was another screw there just then. So yeah, I'm losing screws. Anyway. Yeah, so we the chip in question is that fella. That's the one that's definitely probably knackered. I don't know what it is with VIC20s, but they drop the LS138s, which I think this is what I've got here. Yes, it is. Excellent. Yeah, I'm not a fan. Hey, there's that missing screw. Ping. Oh, and I've got dog hair. Nice. Yeah, I'm not a fan of socketing things, but you know. Do you know what? As he looks at that, is that C6? Let's do the old shiner light method. No, it's not. CD9. Yeah, the soldering on these boards is always pretty tragic, but in fact, pin 4 looks awful. But it's connected nicely at the bottom, and there's no way that that can be a dry joint. Right, okay, so I've done a dry joint check. Right, so yeah, obviously I've not gone and reached out and got myself a nice bit of carpet to do this on. You know, I could use balloons and a cat, or I don't know, one of those static generation machines that make zap, zap, zap. I could be desoldering it on that, and obviously then I'd have something else to repair for a future video. But no, anti-static mat, you don't necessarily need that. If you've got a wood work surface, that's quite good. Your soldering iron should be earthed. Discharge yourself on that and stop disco dancing on. Don't wear wool. But yeah, the more you handle this old kit, the more problems you'll get. And you know, these boards flex, all sorts, you name it. So yeah, don't fiddle with stuff unless you're actually intending to break it just for content. Right, anywho, so let's just presume that you're normal and you don't have every piece of equipment you'd ever desire to try and desolder a chip. So we're going to do this the nasty way first, right? Let's just presume you've got a solder sucker or two, and you know I've got different ones that run at different speeds generally, and yeah, there's my slow one, and that's the fast one, yeah, and obviously a machine, of course, which is there. But let's just do this one the way that you might have to do it. Yeah, if you're not very good at desoldering and you know the chip you're replacing is likely to be the one that's actually knackered, you're not just like pulling chips out, hoping for the best. Again, see other channels for that. It's most likely to be this chip, and if this is the only chip I'm going to take out, this is the one. I'm quite tempted to show you how to, you know, do a better job of it, or try to, because these old boards are a sod. They really are. So anyway, if you don't want to damage your PCB, and you're really, really nervous, get yourself some nice tin snips out, and I'm glad that's working. Find the chip in question. Do you know what? Because I can't quite see that, because of the way I'm presenting all of this, I'm just going to mark that chip with a bit of black. So when I'm fiddling with this under the camera, I can see the chip that I'm doing. Because I didn't put on my glasses. Right, so yeah, some nice flat-edged, old nasty old cutters. And just go right up against the chip, not the PCB. Don't go digging into the... Again, other YouTube providers will show you how to wreck things. But just go in right up against the chip, right up against the plastic of the chip. Can't emphasize this enough. It has to be flat-backed ones, trust me. And then that way, when you're using the flat back, it won't sort of rip back down into the PCB, or at least shouldn't rip back down into the PCB. So going to do a bit of that. In fact, that is not gripping so well. I'm going to reverse the note. Yeah. Going for some nastier ones. These ones will get in there. There we go, these. So just nip the legs off. Try not to bend them, because that's a sod if you do that as well. Just try and keep them straight. The more you manipulate this, the harder it will be. These things were put in by a machine. The legs were then sort of half splayed out so it could go through the solder bath machine later. So if these did sort of rock around in production, the chips wouldn't fall out. They do not necessarily like desoldering. Anything on old boards. You know, it's only when you got later production where the chips were literally sitting in the holes. Beautiful. But, you know, the quality of these boards, yes, it's better than Sinclair. Even better than BBC boards. They seem to use the bare minimum track thicknesses, so as soon as you get a bit of corrosion, it's gone. So yeah, hopefully that chip was knackered, because it is now. Right, so anyway, there we go. So now we've got, come on, is this going to be good for me? Yeah, that's good enough. So there we got just a bunch of nasty little legs sitting in there. Okay, so A, B, and C. What do we do now? Well, I'm presuming again you've got no tools at all. You have not got. You shouldn't be doing this. You know you shouldn't be doing this. So let's just presume you've got the bare minimum, which is a soldering iron that is hot, real hot. Some solder, which is lead in it. Yeah, old board need lead. Yeah, you can put back in with lead free if you want, but you need to come out with leaded solder. So how are we doing now? Just check the camera. So yeah, you just come onto the board and just wet all of these pins up a little bit with plenty of solder. Well, not too much solder, but do not dig into the board. Do not dig the board. The board is fragile. Yeah, call this, this smells of 1984. Delicious. So yeah, I'm just wetting this up, right? Wet, wet, wet. Oh dear. Right. Okay, they are now wet. Trust me, misses. Right. So, and again, we're using the minimum tools, incorrect tools, in fact. So what we're going to do now, I might just zoom in a bit more. I won't go to macro mode because that is insane. That'll do. I haven't even checked to see if this is recording properly. It'd be a bit of a bugger because this would be a sod of a wonder fake because I've already cut the legs out. Right, so here we go then. So yeah, heat the leg up, right? And if you notice, I'm doing this on the top side of the board, not the bottom. Haha, bottom. And then what I'm trying to do is just heat the thing up a little bit and then lift the leg out. Top side, yeah? Because there's going to be, I always find it's easier, otherwise you're going to have to, you got the shoulder here, which you're cutting above. So either you've got to cut down really low and damage the PCB, or just heat the pad up, give it a light wiggle, don't pull, and that will come out wrong side up, yeah? Right, this is where my desk starts getting messy, because I'm literally just going to heat stuff up, yank it out, dump it down there, heat it up, yank it out. Now, if you notice, I'm doing all of this, and I've not even reached for the desoldering tool yet, yeah? Because there's going to be a two-way way of doing this once these are out. See what I'm actually doing now? I'm just literally beading that all up into a big old load of blech, and not even using these cutters as pliers, and just lifting the chip up. And there you go. Big old load. Oh, epic fail. Anyway, real life, not faked. Yeah. I may or may not show you the testing of this board, actually, because I really am running in between several things at the moment. That might have to come up in a follow-up, but, you know, again, depending on how long, I didn't look at the clock, and nor do I know if OBS is going to show me on the screen how long this video is, because I don't like editing videos. Who does, you know? I haven't got the time, really. You know, it's some of the stuff I don't mind editing, but, you know, I find it's just easier if it's bad. Don't put it out. Don't put it out. And, yeah, with the quality of some of my videos, as you can see, there we go. This is how the cool kids do this. They go like that. They take it off. Right, it appears that that pin there might be the 5-volt pin, the earth pin, the something pin, because you don't want to melt. But there he goes. He said, there he is, he's out. Right, so, as you can see, the PCB isn't covered in flux, it hasn't gone black, it has no carpet, or hair static balloons, Van der Graaf generators, etc. But yeah, as you can see, you really can't see you've actually been here. Now this is where things get a little bit difficult, so we might as well call this a twosie. Desoldering pumps. Right, again. You see some horrible stuff in videos, but flux is your friend. Now let's just presume you haven't got any flux, which you should have, but you haven't. So we're going to find, this is the chip that we removed here. So what we're going to do is just wetten up using some leaded flux solder on this side. Remember the other side's already wet now, which will help. Just wetten that up, don't go mad. Not trying to resolder the world, and it's always nice to do stuff like this and never have to clean it at the end, which is Brucey bonus. Yeah. So there we go. Oh, I'm getting bored now. Boring. Right. Let's just hope this is the right chip as well, because I didn't really spend enough time. Yeah, looks about right there. There we go. We've got a bit of beadage going on up here. All right. I'm actually going to wetten these up a bit more. Don't go mad with this, because you'll make your life hard, especially if your soldering iron's rubbish. I'm dropping frames. I am dropping frames, aren't I? Dear Intel, make a decent chip. Love and kisses, the Penguin. This is an i7 sausage, egg and chips, but because it hasn't got a onboard GFX, and nor can it because it's not that sort of PC, it appears it really is struggling with capturing stuff more than I realised. Anywho, so I'm going to go for my slow sucker here, which I've already cleaned enough to make it usable. Yeah, not the crap off the end of it if there is any. So, now you can do this two ways. The pads on the bottom can be weaker than the pads on the top. Yeah, and basically the more traces you've got, the stronger it will be. Sometimes access can be better, but basically you choose what you choose, and I'm going to choose what I'm going to choose. And I think because that looks better on the camera that way, I'm going to go from the bottom. Insert comment below. Right, so there we go. So a little bit of heat, give it a bit of time. Don't go mad, no digging. If the soldering iron's not melting, it's because you don't have enough flux or that you don't have enough contact. Give it time, but, you know, if this starts going black, you're going bad stuff. But anyway, as you can see, that wasn't too much drama, was it? So we do the next one. And I missed. And I missed again. Not getting a good contact there. The other thing to bear in mind of me doing this, you are sinking heat into the board. If it doesn't come out in a couple of goes and move on, this board, quality of these boards is really poor. You know, not bad for back in the day, but, you know, compared to the stuff that I get made in the factory now, new. So there you go, all right? Now, do you know what? I'm not going to bother showing you the big posh gun things. And this isn't... I've got one of these here. Like, this isn't one of these... just the handheld ones are rubbish. I can tell you that for a fact because I've owned 3 of the handheld ones. This one plugs into a base station with a pump in it, etc. I might go into this in another video, but if you do run one of these, you've got one of these, leave it on for 15 minutes. 15 minutes. This thing needs to be red hot whole way through and clean before you start. And clean it when you've started using it and clean it at the end. It's really dull. I don't like using them because they're a pain in the arse, but they're good when you've got a lot of work to do. But when you've got a small job like this, or you've got limited tools and something wants to focus in the end. And I've just noticed I'm running on batteries, it seems, for some mad reason. Why is that? We don't want to be going flat now, do we? Oh. That was me just standing on a PCB. That was clever. Anyway. Yeah, it's lucky I've got the display switched on because me sat here just knocked over all my clamps and everything. I said clamps. Yeah. Yeah, because yeah, it's like I've got that display on, otherwise I wouldn't notice that. Anyway. It's all done live, no cuts. I said cuts. Alright, so we're going to do a few more of these. So yeah, this is probably the safest way, in fact. So I was going to show 3 ways. It looks like I'm showing just the one way now. Look, I come off that because I was clearing my nozzle. Insert comment below. Because if you do heat this track up too much, you will lift the bugger. Yeah? And that is not a plan. Yeah, let's try this faster one. Let's see what's better today. This is one I got from Maplin's. Remember Maplin's, boys and girls? Oh. So yeah, that's doing all right, actually. I think I'm shaking less on one of these people where if I sit and concentrate, the hypertension cuts in. So yeah, you use what you use. Yeah? If you do a good job with a particular tool, stick with it. You don't need to upgrade. Ha-ha! Schoolboy error. Somebody didn't clean his nozzle. Comment below. There we go. I'm literally just dumping this on my desk because that's how I do it. You make a big old mess, clean up at the end, or at least clean up before you start the next job. I said job. Yeah, getting on well with the old Maplin's one. I get thumb trouble with these though. For some reason the spring's a bit of a... Mind you, if you do as much soldering as me. Yes, you are. It's a bit mental. Right, so yeah, that's that out. And again, what you have to do at this stage, you have to gauge whether the board needs cleaning or leaving well alone. Yeah? As you can see, the board's not too dirty. Yeah? So, frankly, you know, that's all right. If it was a real mess, get the IPA out on it. Yeah? But there you go, look. Barely needs cleaning at all. Now, again, I'm not a fan of sockets. You see people socketing everything, but sockets are not actually brilliant. You can get some nasty eBay sockets, which I've found here, which are the wrong size. I don't know what the hell that material is. Look at the state of that. Yeah. Turn pin, they will work. They'll be okay. And I'll drop a few frames. But yeah, no, I'm not even going to bother. I'm just going to put the chip in. I'm bending the legs off camera here, sorry. I'm just going to put the chip in as is. Why the hell not? And look, fell straight in there. So there we go. Yeah, I feel a bit bad for that, but do I put a socket in, do I not? What do you think, boys and girls? I'll get in. But hey, Rod, that socket's the wrong size. I know. But frankly, I can't be bothered to go into the stock and get some good sockets out for my own test repair stuff. Right, so I need to knock 2 pins off here, but how do you do that? Easy peasy. You take your soldering iron and you select the pin you no longer require and you give it some heat. And give it a push. There we go. As soon as it starts moving, don't push it all the way through your iron because you have to bloody clean it. Yank it out. Job done. But hey, Rod, that still doesn't right. I used maths and maths says blah blah. I don't care. Give us a minute. I haven't finished. Just going to heat this one up. I'm watching this on the camera so I could burn myself. Oh, and I went all the way through and I made a mistake. Don't do that. So yeah, don't leave your camera running on batteries. Consider I've been messing around with this for about an hour. That's gone very flat. Anyway, yeah, and yeah, don't do that because, in fact, oh, there's the pin. It's actually stood bolt upright there. Magic moonbeams. Anyway, gone. Yeah, so that socket is now shorter, as you can see. No, it's not. Well, it will be. Now you've melted those holes. That should cut all right, and, you know, you now have a short socket. Yeah, wouldn't recommend doing that for all you boys and girls out there, but, you know, in a pinch, it'll do. Short socket. Job done. It's in. Right, so I'm going to use the finger method and the where's my bloody solder gone method. Yeah. Did that hit the floor in the avalanche? Crazy times. I've got that solder. No way I'm using that. Look at the size of that. I'm going solder blind. Oh, there it is. Literally right next to me. So I'm going to have to be a bit quick with this. Don't use sellotape, Kapton tape, paper tape. You could tape the thing down if you don't want to burn yourself, but I'm just holding it underneath and I'm just going to blob a bit of solder on and chip. There we are. There we are. La 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 la. Stop swearing. Right. And now that appears. I'll do the wobble check. That's flat or flat enough. Yes, that's in. UC6 changed. Right. And yep, there it is on the camera. So that's that heavy leg there because the ground stroke 5 volt, whatever the hell that is. No diagnostics in this one, I'm afraid. This is literally, I need to change this chip to confirm that this is probably why my VIC20 doesn't like resetting on the cartridge bus properly. It's a really common fault, but rarely seen because it doesn't get that exercise, but obviously my VIC20s do. I don't know how. I've probably changed at least 3 of these now. So there you go. As you can see here, I am doing the point-to-point method and a normal drag. You know, old board, dirty old solder mixed in with the new. Well, most of it's gone anyway, but there we are. And then for tidy up purposes, I highly recommend just using the tip of your soldering iron to break through the flux and pick up any nasty little beads. And frankly, because again, I'm showing you this as if you've got no tools at all. You know, you've literally got the solder. Yeah, you got the solder sucker. Could use solder wick. Don't recommend that. Not for a novice. An expert will do a good job with that. But you can bake the tracks, and that'll be the end of that. So there we go. That is me showing you how to pull out a chip and do a reasonable job with very little tools. I think you've got to be proud of that, right? I hope that comes all right, visible on the YouTubes. Yeah, so that's that done. Somewhere there's the chip that I straighten the legs for. There it is. I'll stay in the zoomed mode. And 74LS, blah, blah, blah. Don't even know where these chips come from, but they appear to be 88 vintage. Wow. Right, anywho, so yeah, that is in a socket, which I would never normally recommend, but, you know, never know, I might have to change that one again. I'll be back at a later time if it turns out it's the other chips that are actually at fault, but generally it's that one. I don't know why. Don't know why. It's generally that one. Anyway, if I can find my mouse... Unbelievable. I've not... Oh, there it is. I normally put it on the arm of my chair, but for this I didn't. Right, so yeah, until the next time. Goodbye now.